welcome back to Nugget Garage. Monday morning. This thing got dropped off on Saturday. I really was too busy to have a look at it, but I'll show you what it is. Oh damn. So for you who are new to this channel, this is my 1973 KE20. It's been in my possession for about 20 years. The fastest it's run in the quarter is 780, 181. Runs a 2J, power glide, Hilux diff. It's always been an honest car. It's always been standard paint. While it looks good in videos and whatnot, it was a bit of a turd really. A mate of mine, Bruce, he's been following the car for years and he decided that he wanted to paint it for me. Unfortunately, when he started removing the old paint, it showed it's got quite a lot of history with running into things. So thanks to Bruce, he spent way more time on it than what he was supposed to. Bare metal resprayed it. The guards on this, the quarters, over the years I'd mini tubbed it and basically the outside skin became separated from the inside skin. So he's gone and re-welded all through here and reshaped it on both sides, and the actual quarter panel steel itself now stays there. I used to have a little piece of steel sitting there against it to hold it out because it'd pop in when I heat it up. I don't know if you can tell it in the light, but it's dead straight. Every single little nook and cranny, it's all been done back to bare metal. It's all been reshaped, rebody lined. All the panel gaps and panel alignment are all better than standard by a long shot. Rear valance and front valance and beaver panels, they're dead straight. They're like 1.2 mil steel, thin with no rolled edge, so how he's done that I have no idea. The roof is perfect. There is a little bit of stuff in the clear over there, but this is straight off the gun, this is not buffed. That won't be an issue at all, it'll buff out. So for it to look this good when it doesn't have any of the side trims on or wheel, it's going to look fantastic when it's together. He's still doing the boot lid. I've got to find OEM glass rubbers if I can find them, because they have like a channel insert and I want to keep it all stock. The aftermarket ones don't fit real well. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to move some cars this morning and hide this up on the front hoists. I'm not going to have time to start working on it for probably a month and a half. I've got to get that bike car finished first. I know what will happen if I start another project while I've got another project going. It won't be good. Anyway, we'll get into some Jamboree prep. Pretty bloody stoked with this. I'm just nervous as hell with it being in here.
So Scotty Hoffman and Errol Britton. I reckon Scott has been down this track more than the postman's delivered here in the last 2 months. He is just here every time.
Well, as we know, practice makes perfect, so we'll see what Scotty can do, thanks to Cleveland Exhaust, his own company. And Errol Britton, this Brumby is one of these cars that we've watched evolve over the years here at Jamboree. Every year it comes back and it's a little bit shinier, a little bit quicker.
Oh, carries the wheel. Watch this.
Oh, early shoots there for Scotty. Goes 8.04, 169 miles an hour. And that's
just checking if it's definitely a
no, it's been given the thumbs up, so
just making sure it was an original KE. I'm not too sure. Yeah, you're good to go, Scott. Whoa, jumps off the line, does Carl. Oh, just smokes the tyres, but Carl Herbert's going to keep the foot into that little sedan and see what he can run it through to. A 908 at 160 miles an hour. So he's still at the same.
You can only put so much horsepower through a 289 tyre.
It's like a seesaw when they leave the line, Mark. They've really got to have it down to a fine art. So Hoffman and Silk, the Corolla versus the Datsun.
Silky, he's had some big wheel stands over the years at Jamboree. Up Scott Hoffman. The burnout prizes during the burnout, not the start line.
So Michael's just going to hammer on through with a 903 to back up his 908. But Scotty Hoffman says, well, how about a 17-second run, and I just about did a skid to almost half track.
Pretty fresh, eh?
Tell us all about it. It's great.
It's very fresh.
Very fresh. Looks like you've just tipped water over your head.
Can you smell
Must
me?
be nice and cool.
Can you smell me from there?
Yes. I can smell you from down the other end.
This is pretty disgusting.
And by run?
By run.
By run.
So let's see if I can do a solo burnout instead of a tandem burnout. I reckon the track temperature was 150, they say.
Anyway,
Well, it ain't sticky. Yeah,
no. It's greasy. No wheelies. What's going on here?
It's not making the boosts again.
It's not making any boosts.
Well, it's making 46 pounds, but it's not what I'm asking for.
Oh.
I'm asking for more than that.
How much more?
55.
What?
Need to look down here and see if that.
Oh yeah, what's up there?
It's cracked again. Oh, wait a second. What's that all the way around there? Oh, that's just oxidization. What about down further?
No, it's not through there anymore. I don't know if you'll actually need it.
I'll race in the weather, ain't that?
I got nothing to buy anyway.
Don't we just put some road tyres on the back?
So you do, buys all the way to the finals and then wing it.
We're going to dry the track, we're going to do all of that of course once we get this sprinkle over and done with. We're rubbing the track while we're going. In behind this at the moment is obviously a little bit of clear sky, and I'm sure we're going to be all up and going again once we get that track rubbed and dried. And as Mark said before, that track is so warm that what we've got on there now is probably not going to bother us too much whatsoever. Obviously, if we get a continued downpour, then we've got more issues. Going to just take us longer. It's only a case of time between a light sprinkle and the clean up, and if we get it any heavier, it's going to take.
the Monday morning after the Jamboree, so I kind of missed the whole prep bit I was talking about. Work ended up being stupid busy. I had a heap of tunes I had to get done. I had a heap of stuff I had to organise before then. I just didn't have time to film it. Same as on Saturday, actually. I had, 4 or 5 cars I was helping with, so I just park line up and then go and look at their logs, and I had no time for cameras. Chris got there a bit later in the day and filmed the first round, and then it rained. So here we are. So the car went pretty decent. Obviously it was stupid hot. I felt really bad sending the poor thing down the track in that heat. Went 8.0 in the first pass. The next 2 passes it did something it's never done before. It just didn't even move. It just blew the tyres off. Apparently the track was about 150 F. And there was bald spots, so little 235 just didn't do it. Ended up top qualifying for Street 289. There was 2 cars there that were faster than me, but they couldn't get their shit together either. Hello, Errol. Yeah, so I ended up top qualifying, and which means I got the bye run the first round, and you could noticeably see bald spots in the track, so I staged a little bit to the left, dropped the launch RPM down by 300, and it actually went at 8.1, 172, so I was actually probably in a fairly good spot to take that class out anyway, but I would have stuffed up, is what I do. Yeah, the other cars that I was helping with there, mixed wagon, we're trying to figure out why that thing is a bit of a turd in the front of the track, but I think he ended up finding out his nitrous bottle was a bit light on, same as Chris Adams' Ute. James's RX-7, we turned the upstream on, we had no data, so we just had to trim fuel, and got it to the point where it's now not leaving the line because it's wheel spinning. So it's still on 860. I think he's second qualified for the same class that I was in, which is pretty cool considering we think that engine is actually hurt, but it still seems to be working. What's been happening in the shop, I've now got Andrew permanently working for me pretty much, so we've been getting through some huge jobs. We've still got Skyline in here. We've put a CPC plenum on. We've got to get that running and tuned. I think its starter motor died on Friday. Lockie's Ute, I think Andrew's changing the injectors. We're trying to get this thing to make 600 rear now through an A340. Tidy VL, got a super in for a flex tune. I did this one on Friday. It made 500 rear wheel on 98 Tsunabe 25 Neo. Had the usual fuel pump upgrade and not the fuel pump wiring upgrade, so I had to fix that. John's K20, we buzzed that up on Friday as well. No, Thursday. It's only a stock CO, so we stopped at about 250 on pump fuel. So we're going to get this off today. I'm waiting for a Haltech can art gauge to turn up for it, and then it can go. The Supra, if Saturday was going to be hot, I was going to take it to road trip this weekend instead of the K10, but I may as well do it. I'll take the K10 because the reality is it's probably going to break down, or I'm going to get arrested for driving it. So that should make good viewing for you. The white one, I started that and drove it off the hoist the other day because the Bamboo K20 is now on that hoist. It seems to run right, but I'm going to have to pull the manifold off, clean the injectors, clean the fuel filters. It has a tyre end on this side that's not good, and for some reason now, I don't know why, the dump pipe's actually hitting on the drag link, so I may have to take the dump pipe off and shorten that. So Kiwi's going to drive this white K20. It's actually tech inspected, but he's not licensed, so I'm not sure if that means well, obviously he's not allowed to run faster than 650, so he'll be in one of those classes where they're 650 capped. The little K10, sorry I haven't done much on it. It's got some new kicks on it. That's what those wheels ended up looking like. When I went to put them back together, of course, I didn't realise at the time that the front stud pattern and the rear stud pattern is actually different. So it's 4x110 rear, 4x114 front, which means they're probably K30 brakes. Nothing's changed in the engine bay. I haven't done anything at all. A Venetian did turn up for it this week, so I'll put that in there, but I'm going to get through this road trip drag challenge thing. By that time, the workload should be a bit less. And then we're just going to smash this thing out, because now I'm pretty keen to get into this bamboo car. I've got to buy a Nexus for it, I've got to get a nice C7 for it. I've got to do a full wiring job on it. We've got to change all the rear end over, we've got to put sliders in it, monoliths, AFCO shocks, all the good stuff. I'm pretty keen to start playing with it, but I'm committed. I've got to do this thing first. And after watching Guy King's Corolla run off in the distance with my heart and soul on the weekend, I'm even more keen to get into it. Alright, well, the video some Jamboree prep, this thing, Jamboree prep, some road trip prep. The KE10, obviously I'm going to have to put an E85 tune in it. I'd like to run it on methanol, but I think on the hour-and-a-half drives it'll consume more than I can carry. So that's going to have an E85 tune put in it. And I've got some 145 Nankang radial front tyres, steel belts. There's no doubt this thing will get a screw in it and it'll go flat. The back tyres go flat as well, so I'm going to have to take an air pump with me, and just in case. I'll take the belly pan off, take the chute off, put the parachute, the number plate back on obviously, and I'm going to have to build some kind of exhaust. I don't think running a side pipe on the street, trying to be inconspicuous, is a good idea. Alright, well, we'll get some of that done, I'll film it, and then probably just get to the point where we're ready to go, and that'll be this week's video. Alright, see you out there. Alright, so once again the workshop's kicked my ass today. I was fully intending to video some extremely exciting car prep stuff, but it just wasn't to be. The phone wouldn't stop ringing, had to tune a car, customers, I'll give up sometimes. So I did manage to pull the front off this. I pulled all the intercooler pipes out, the compressor housing off. There was no visible cracks, or I don't know, maybe the turbo's dying. Pulled the compressor housing off, went over that weld that we did last time just in case something had moved there that I can't see, but that wasn't it. So I just serviced all the O-rings, clearance there's a couple of little burrs here and there that may have been holding stuff off. Pulled the blow-off valve apart, and it was actually full of all jelly from methanol sitting there. I assume it's going down its boost reference line, because it sits lower than the manifold. So it could have been that. The O-ring on that didn't seat really good in the seat in the blow-off valve. It does now, so maybe that's fixed it. We're kind of ready. Got to bring the cruiser in the morning. We're going to tow this one out. This one is going to drive out. It hasn't run in months. We pulled injectors out today and cleaned them and cleaned the filters, put some fresh fuel in it. It fires up and runs like it used to, so I can only assume it'll work. We'll pack some tools, fix it out there. We've got to do the oil change out there yet. We didn't get time today. That one's oil change is done. I didn't get time to, well, I did have different front wheels for it, tyres. They don't fit, they're too tall. So after I realised that, I thought, bugger it, I'm just going to drive it exactly how I race it. So I've got 120 litres of the fuel that it runs on, and we're going to see if that'll get me 200 Ks in 3 days of 8th mile racing. So I ended up using some footage in that Jamboree footage there from Overtaken Lang's live feed. Jump on there, YouTube, and give them a like and a subscribe. They do a lot for the car community at the moment. They're a good bunch of blokes too. They're also the guys that print my merch. So yeah, jump over there. I'll put a link in the description below. Also, Jake and Friends. Jake, he's a friend of mine with a 2JZ Cressida. He's starting to, him and Nick, or whoever his friends are starting to do a YouTube channel, and they're putting one out each week, and it's quite funny to watch. So Jake and Friends, I'll put that link in the description as well. They're also coming to Road Trip. They've done like a Barry-esque 13s for 1300 Turbo Falcon that they're going to try and road trip in. I think it may even have Barry's dodgy tune in it. So we'll see how that goes for them. So jump over to their Facebook, give them a like and subscribe. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here, get home, get some sleep, get out to this track tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. appropriate song on
Yeah.
Back in Black, mate. Said it's not black, it's bamboo.
Back in bamboo. You want me to sit in it and make car noises?
Hey? Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty straight, eh? Yeah, right, it's better than the one on the hoist. Fuck yeah.
I haven't buffed it yet because I thought you're probably touching it and someone will lean up against it and scratch it, or so once it's all back together we'll do a final.